See, I don't like this new software because I never know when we're live. But I guess we are. What's going on, Jeromes? We're back. Happy Tuesday out there, everyone, everywhere. It's the Daily Jeromes live stream, talking a little bit of Minnesota Fighting Vikings, a little bit of nonsense, all of that good stuff. It's going to be a great time, as well as I'm very sweaty because I just got off the bike or doing the hibbity-dibbity. I don't know. I guess we'll never know. There you go. We got Q's and A's. We got some stuff going on. Minnesota Fighting Viking land. So the cornerback controversy. Well, all right. So yes. So Xavier Rhodes coming out and talking about how the Colts defense is much easier, and just waking up and reading that quote just really rubbed me the wrong way. Just sort of went off. Check that video out, as well as former Vikings cornerback Captain Munnerlyn was arrested in Miami. Apparently, there was a fugitive warrant sworn out for him in Las Vegas for allegedly passing bad checks, which it's not great. It's not good. It's really not good. As well as, all right, so Captain does have this reputation of getting after it, having some fun, winning the day. And I was gonna mention the video. I do have a personal Captain Munnerlyn strip club story that I'm not going to share here. I know that's a massive tease, but I don't know. Maybe another day. Maybe if we do a Jerome's live event and there are no recording devices, maybe we'll tell the story. Be a good time. So, Jeromes, thank you very much for coming along, making this part of your day. Happy Tuesday out there, everyone, everywhere. So, we got Q&A as well as the add-on question. What's the reason the Vikings put you on IR? So, Preacher Paul is in the live chat. What's going on? So, why would the Vikings put me on IR? I don't know, gout? Well, consumption of too much delicious broiled meats. Now, for a long time, gout was associated with eating too much fatty meats and all that stuff. And you look at like a European royalty, you look at the Mongols, everyone associates, well, if you eat a lot of delicious fatty meat, you're just going to get the gout. But they don't coincide that with alcohol, which, all right, so European nobility, they drank a lot. The Mongols, they definitely drank a lot. So that certainly has a big part of it. It's like when you see these superficial studies like, well, if you consume meat, you have a higher chance of heart disease and diabetes, except it never factors in what else they're eating. So a lot of refined carbs, a lot of sugar, all of that stuff, and also sedentary lifestyle. Just oh, they also eat meat too. Hey, you know who else ate meat? Charles Manson. So it means all meat eaters are serial killers? Well, I guess technically by the letter of the law, sure. Yeah, good times. But, yeah, so that's why I go on IR. Too much meats. Or too much smoke inhalation from said meats. It's good times. Also, so gearing up for deer season. I'm pretty excited. I'm really been doing a lot of jerky. So now with jerky, it really does lend itself to the leaner cuts of meat, because with jerky, you really don't want fat, right? So save that for roast, save that for steak, save that for everything else. So it really helps with venison that it is an extremely lean meat. So like the back straps, the tenderloins, as well as all the ass, like those are all the really good cuts. All the steaks come from there. All the stuff that you just want to sear really hot, keep medium rare, just get after it that way. But you look at like the shoulder. So the shoulder can be a little sinewy. I know that you can cut them up into like roasts and stuff. But also, if you cut it off the bone and get the individual muscle groups, it is pretty lean. And that is really good to put a slight freeze on it, slice it really thin, and then just put it on. All right, so making jerky out of it. So I actually do a two-step process with making jerky, whether it be out of venison, whether it be out of beef. Haven't tried pork yet. May as well try, right? Because why not? So for beef, what I really like, so there's this cut called top round roast. Let's see, top round beef. Yeah, so you'll see this in stores. It's usually really cheap, and definitely don't confuse this for filet mignon, because it's actually tender-ish, but it can be pretty tough. But all right, so top round on beef is something that you don't want for steak. But if you got like top round or top sirloin on deer, obviously you want to eat that extremely raw. But all right, so this is coming from the ass of the cow. Cow is always using those big ass leg muscles, so it's gonna be a really lean cut. And this is great. So get one of these roasts, and it's actually really cheap. They're usually between $4 and $6 a pound. You can find them really, really cheap. So just trim off this little piece of fat, this little silver skin, and put a slight freeze on it, and just slice it really thin. Like if you have a meat slicer, great. If you know a butcher, they'll slice it up thin for you. That's really cool too. But if you just have a really sharp knife, put a slight freeze on this, so you can cut it really, really thin. And also, this is great too, because you have these giant chunks of meat. Because there's nothing that annoys me more about beef jerky when you got like all these little tiny pieces. No, give me the piece that looks like that, right? Slice this up, and it's a 2-step process for me making jerky. Because so I don't use a dehydrator. I never had really good luck with them, but I'll put them on the Traeger, the pellet grill, the smoker, really low, like 180, and just get a really nice layer of smoke, get the flavor in there. And also, you can stack these up. So on the grill, then you can stack up like wire racks. You can just good to go. And then what you do is you take them and you put them in the oven at the lowest setting. Usually on ovens is like 175. That's perfect. And then you just stack it up, and then just leave the oven door open just like a crack. So then that way the moisture isn't circulating in that oven, so that it gets really dried out. And that stuff is actually shelf stable, to a degree for a while. I mean, it's like how they made jerky back in the olden days. Well, they made jerky back in the olden days just by putting salt on the meat and then just hanging it. And that was it. Like, F your FDA and stuff. So it's some hot jerky talk on Tuesday. Good times. What were we talking about? No, it doesn't matter. All right, so Mordecai. I had to pretend I didn't purposely injure Aaron Rodgers by faking an injury myself. All right, so there you go. So you slam into Rodgers. You break the 80-year-old octogenarian's bones. Should have taken a Boniva, calcium son. And then you're just like, I'm also injured. Just pulling the full-on Xavier Rhodes. Zach Hazlius. Metro record versus Matt Nagy. What will the NFC standings be this year? I say Vikings, Packers, Lions, Bears. Yes. Vikings 12-4, Packers 9-7, Lions 6-10, Bears 3-13. Maybe. Or maybe even the other way around, like Bears and Lions. Kai Jaden, what do you think? Who do you think was a better football player, Ray Lewis or Ed Reed? So Ray Lewis, obviously first ballot Hall of Famer, first ballot obstruction of justicer. But also, I feel like Ray Lewis was extremely good and extremely solid. But also, I don't think he was better than Patrick Willis. I don't. I think Patrick Willis at his peak was an absolute nail driver. Retired young, but like for him, like him and Bowman out in San Francisco for a while were just amazing, right? Throw Ahmad Brooks in there too. Like the Harbaugh defenses, get some. So yeah, I think that Ray Lewis certainly gets a little bit overhyped just because of the Atlanta thing, as well as just his presence in the media. Always had the soundbite. So there was a beat writer at the Strib that used to cover things in Baltimore, and he talked about that Ray Lewis, like when the cameras weren't on, super chill dude, just one of the guys, just whatever. But when cameras were on, he lived up to his nickname, Red Light Ray. So whenever the camera, the red light on recording, he steps up, talk about this. You got to live it with your heart, man. All that's, it's really over the top. Like you can understand, like it's like there's leadership and then there's leadership pro wrestling, and Ray Lewis is definitely the latter part of that. And but Ed Reed almost is underrated. He really is. Like Ed Reed is honestly a generational talent at free safety. The big plays that he made, every single interception turned into a punt return as well. Like he was a great punt returner as well. Ed Reed was a generational talent, slam dunk first ballot Hall of Famer. Will probably should be remembered as one of the top 2 safeties of all time. Where Ray Lewis, to me, was a very, very good first ballot Hall of Famer, sort of run-the-mill linebacker, as weird as that sounds. All right, so... And also, this speaks to the unbreakable record of Paul Krause. So, Ed Reed, generational ball hawk. He got 64 picks. Paul Krause has 81. That's never going to be broken. He led the league in interceptions 3 times. He took 7 back to the house. Let's see, punt returns. Oh, he only broke 1 punt? That's only. It was a great one, though, wasn't it? That was good. Also, him back at the U. Like, Ed Reed was so freaking good, man. All right, so he had 21 total picks. He had 17 over 2 seasons, including he had 4 pick sixes over 2 years. Like, you shouldn't be allowed to do that. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. Yeah, so for me, Ed Reed, all-time great. Ray Lewis, very good. George Baptista. Honestly, the Vikings would be hard-pressed to get me on IR, thanks to Marine Corps. I'm able to push through a lot of injuries. I went 9 months with no ACL and a completely torn meniscus. Also, I've been watching the Vikings camp videos, and I have to say Jake Browning looks phenomenal. I know throwing versus air as opposed to natural defense is way different, but still he just looks as all coming very fluid in his movements. Your thoughts? Well, talked over the offseason that someone whose opinion I really respect said that the Vikings and specifically the Kubiaks are really into Jake Browning as well as that shoulder. So when Jake Browning went undrafted, it was mainly because of shoulder injury, shoulder issues, but some of that strength is starting to come back. And, I mean, dude was a winner. I believe he's the Pac-12 all-time leader in wins because he was a 4-year starter. Well, take that with a grain of salt because I think Sean Mannion is number 2 on that list. But, I mean, yeah, the dude certainly has a lot of talent, threw for a ton of yards. Was it 2016 when he had John Ross and Dante Pettis, I believe? Yeah, somewhere in there. But, yeah, who knows? Next up is, but I think that his floor is a lot higher than Nate Stanley's. His ceiling is probably just as high, too. Nick Doroff, 4th-degree butt bruise from sitting on the sideline too long. What would you rather be known for? Being caught with a Wizinator or the mastermind behind the Love Boat? Well, I feel like the Love Boat I mean, that's sort of like infamous. Also, there's a lot of people involved there. So you got Brian McKinney, Fred Smoot, Corin Robinson, Mewelde Moore, other people who may or may not be there. But with Ontario Smith, like the first thing that when you say the name Ontario Smith, first thing you say is Wizinator. And since I'm such an egomaniac, I would rather be known for something that I was completely all buying me onesies. It's just great. It's good times. What is going on in the live chat? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Random videos. You're getting blocked. See ya. Deuces. I love when people just like don't get it. There you go. So yeah, I don't pay as much attention to the live chat as possible, but yeah, notify me when things go on. Yeah. What an asshole. Anyway, let's hear. Tree J. I have a feeling Zimmer still texts Terence Newman to see if he's interested in playing. Well, I don't know. Do you think Zimmer texts? Probably. I mean, he's got young. Well, he's got like kids are in their. Well, Adam Zimmer's like what 35. I think he's got 2 daughters in their 30s. So yeah, he probably texts. But also I don't know. Like how's he text from his jitterbug, right? So he's got the big buttons. Terence, I miss you. Kissy face. Poop emoji. I feel like Zimmer was definitely into emojis. You'll notice that if you have older relatives that text, like they're definitely into the emojis. Like they just really get into it and get after it. So all right. So Terence Newman I believe is 40. Terence Newman. All right. So Terence Newman turns 42 in September, and so Terence Newman turns 42. Captain Munderland is actually only 32. Found that out today. I would still take Terence Newman over Munnerlyn, even though he's literally a decade older. I would. And it was so funny. So Newman comes in 2015, second year of Zimmer, slides right in. He's phenomenal. He does great things. Eventually has to give way because Trey Waynes in 2017, they just hand him the starting job. It's like, hey, it's your time now. It's your time. There you go. So then I would say that, man, it's crazy that Terence Newman was a top 5 pick too. I mean, that's absolutely insane. Like him coming out of Kansas State. It was a good draft too, if I remember right. Yeah, Carson Palmer, Charles Rogers, R.I.P. Wait, did he die? Oh my God, he did die. Well, that's my bad. I was actually saying that flippantly because the Lions just wasted another pick. How did he die? Liver failure. Diagnosed with cancer, needed a liver transplant. Oh, that's sad. Oh, rest in peace, Charles Rogers. But yeah, how would you like to be the Lions and the Jets in this spot? It's like, hey, 3 of the top 5 picks are going to be Pro Bowlers. Best of luck to you. Yeah, because this is the one where Vikings were originally at 7. We're going to take Kevin Williams anyways, and then just got leapfrogged. What a poop show. I mean, they probably should have just taken the pride of Minneapolis, Terrell Suggs. But, yeah, it just didn't quite work out. See, Paul Malu, Willis McGahee, Dallas Clark, Larry 400 Kerry Johnson, Nnamdi Asomugha. Nnamdi, I only do well in the Oakland scheme. Asomugha. I go to the Eagles' dream team, eat lunch in my car. Asomugha. Also, I'm married to Kerry Washington. Yeah. How would you like to be the all right, so you're a former NFL Pro Bowler and former NFL All-Pro, and you're the least celebrity. You're the I can't talk today. Like you're the least popular person in your marriage. How'd you like to be that? Also, he's been acting, I want to say. Yeah, he was in where is it? Yeah, so he was in this movie called Crown Heights, which like a wrongful imprisonment. Yeah, there's too many good movies out there, man. E.J. Henderson in the second round. I mean, that's not bad. It's not a bad Vikings draft. You go Kevin Williams, who's a borderline Hall of Famer, and then you go E.J., who is a Hall of Famer in my heart. That's right, come back from the broken femur. Nate Burleson. Damn, son. Ontario Smith. Was a Nader. I keep saying that he's from Tennessee, but he played at Oregon. Didn't he start at Tennessee? Originally attended the University of Tennessee, but was kicked off the team by head coach Philip Fulmer. But why? Did he pee out of a fake penis as well? Actually, that would be a great medical condition, fake penis. Yeah, Eddie Johnson. They just can't help themselves drafting specialists late day 3. Mike Nattiel from Florida. I vaguely remember him. Keenan Howry. Oh, yeah, teammates with Ontario Smith. Spielman drafting teammates again, even though Spielman wasn't here yet. All right, that's it. Oh, yeah, Ryan Hoag, the pride of Gus Davis. Mr. Irrelevant. Hoag was good. He even had a cup of coffee with the Vikings. Good times. Anyway, let us know where you're watching from. We give a couple of shout outs. Always enjoy doing that. You guys are the best. Next up is Eric Hansen. Near career-ending concussion. Probably wasn't the first. Probably won't be the last. I never lead in my head, but being under 6 foot and playing in the trenches, it's bound to happen. Skull. It's oddly specific. Which current Vikings would play through career-ending injury if it meant a Super Bowl? Well, Everson, except Everson's not technically a Viking right now. Let's see here. Daniil, although you can't break titanium. I feel like Harrison Smith would. I feel like Thielen would. Because remember Thielen last year? He played with that bad hamstring as well as, remember, he got cleated. Like he had a gash on his ankle right before the Niners game. So, yeah, I think Adam Thielen would play in the Super Bowl with a broken friggin' neck. I think he would. And probably Dalvin Cook, since he plays with injuries all the time anyway. Next up, Ethan Griffith. I dislocated my knee playing ping pong in the locker room. Can we get a full new film breakdown of Oli Udoh? I think he's going to be a starter by year's end. Well, there's not much new film on him. Like when we did the film breakdown of Oli a couple months ago, like that was basically it. I guess we could find some Elan tape. Could work the Rolodex on there, but yeah, I'm just waiting because teams do have like rec rooms, rec areas. A lot of teams have ping pong tables. Some have pool tables. I'm just waiting for just one random ass injury to just come out of that. It's gonna happen too, guaranteed. Next up is Zach Ballas. Because I got hit so hard I can't remember how to tie my socks. What's the worst you've ever been in trouble? What's the worst thing you've gotten away with? See, the worst thing I've gotten away with. So you know that Netflix show Making a Murderer in Manitowoc County? So I watched that off of a pirated account. See, most I've ever been in trouble. So I've never been arrested. I got not arrested, but in college I did get a minor when I was 20. But I mean, you paid $80. Well, originally I was supposed to do like the standard punishment for Winona County was like 20 hours of community service or pay $80. So I'm just like, being a broke college kid, is like, all right, I'll do the 20 hours. And then I realized I don't want to do that. So then I just paid the $80. That was it. Let's see, worst I've ever been in trouble. So trying to think back as a kid. Oh, man. I'm trying to think. I was never really, like, grounded, absolutely in trouble. Well, there was one thing. So I guess this goes into what I got away with. So April Fool's, I put it was like a $50 coin. And do you remember, well, cars still have this, but cars used to have like slots on the doors, where you can keep like maps and stuff. It was literally called like a map holder, right? So I put a coin there. And so when my parents would accelerate, the coin would roll back. And when they would brake, it would roll forward. It would just make this really weird sound, right? And apparently they never picked up on it. But they took the car into the shop. And they actually found that they had a crack in the head gasket that they're going to have to get done anyway. So, frankly, I should be lauded because I prevented a massive car mishap. I did. Like, imagine blowing your head gasket when you're on the highway. Right? So, frankly, I should be thanked. That is all. All right, a couple shout-outs. Let's see here. Got Jabrisky Skull from Tremplo. What's going on? Charlie Boltman played high school football with Ontario Smith. Woo! Wizinator. Ontario Smith is actually really good. He was good for a hot second. Let's see. PFR. I think he almost had a 1,000-yard season, I want to say. Yeah, maybe not. He had 1,000 yards total over 2 years. There you go. It's not bad. I mean, he averaged 4.9 yards per carry. It's pretty damn good. Let's see. Brett Charles, Montana here. Love me some Montana. Preacher Paul, hauling it for all y'all. Kelso, Washington, on my way to Chaz, Oregon. David Randall Howell from Memphis, Tennessee. I love Memphis. It's a really good town. A lot of history. Great ribs, of course. FedEx. Good times. Purple Rain Skull from Wausau, Wisconsin. What's going on? Jason Sad Skull from Mankato. It was a good time. Man, I'm teasing so many stories that I can't tell, but Mankato's a good time. All right, next up is Tree J. Sam on IR because he swam 28 minutes after eating as opposed to 30. It's a death sentence. Who do you think is a better quarterback right now, Rodgers or Rivers? Right now, Rodgers, but that's not a ringing endorsement. No, I think they're both steadily on the decline. I think Rivers has just been the decline longer because he's older, because I think that he was like a redshirt senior coming out of NC State. Okay. Also, do you know that Matt Ryan is 35? That's absolutely insane, isn't it? All right, so okay, maybe he didn't redshirt. Oh, his go-to guy at NC State, Corn Robinson, get some. Oh, freshman in 2000, he beat the Gophers in the Micron PC Bowl. I want to see this box score. Let's see history. I don't even see it that bad. Yeah, because remember the Vikings game against the Chargers last year? I mean, that was Matt Ryan is 35. How old does that make you feel? Because it was the 08 draft. It was him and Flacco in the first round, and Flacco seems deceased, doesn't he? But I don't know. For some reason, Matt Ryan never felt that old to me, but he is extremely old. Falcons need to start putting in some succession plans because ain't going to be Matt Schaub. Next up is Charlie Boltman. Oh, couple shout-outs. Army 13 Skull from Austria. What's up? Michael Tesh. Brendan from Cold Spring. Rogers. Oh, Rogers is slightly better, sure. Charlie Boltman. Who is making the 53 between Han, Clark, and Boyd? Who's more likely to switch to safety between Boyd and Han? I think more likely to switch to safety is Boyd. I think that his skill set really crosses over well to safety. Frankly, I'm shocked that they didn't try to convert him last year. But then I guess there was such a heavy need at cornerback, not so much at safety. If it came down to one spot, I think they give it to the draft pick. I think it would be Harrison Hand, the 5th rounder. Clark probably practice squad, maybe Boyd as well. Is Blake Lynch the ultimate practice squad player, or is he suited pretty well to play special teams? I think he will be on the practice squad. Well, I think because the Vikings having issues at backup linebacker right now, because Cameron Smith obviously going out. Plus, I think Gideon. I'd be shocked if Gideon actually plays this year. So the Vikings behind Kendricks, Barr, and Wilson, relatively thin because you got DeMarquise Gates, the XFL guy, and then you have the 2 UDFAs, Jordan Fair from Appalachian State and Blake Lynch. But Blake Lynch is fun, man. Go look up some Blake Lynch highlights. He's played safety, cornerback, linebacker, as well as he was a running back, wide receiver for his first couple years of Baylor. He doesn't really have a position. I guess maybe you would say like maybe a potential future weak side linebacker, but he's just an athlete. He's just going to do great on special teams. Really interesting to me. Mo Abdul 99. I've been put on IR due to getting in a brawl with Rogers and the 12-year-old boy. Actually, that'd be a good question. Who would win in a fight right now? Rogers or Matt LaFleur? Because I know that Rogers has the height and the reach on him. LaFleur's obviously got the youth. But also, I don't think Rogers would fare well in the fight. Nah. Let's hear. Boom Maddox Skull from La Crosse. Great town. It's always a good time. Next up is Mo Abdul 9. Luke K. I've been saving this because I'm not one to speak out about stories to make people look bad, but I had a friend who works at a bank. A lot of Vikings players go to this bank. One day a man came in named Xavier Rhodes and wanted a transaction. My friend asked for photo ID, in which he said he didn't have one on him. You need a photo ID to be identified so you can do a transaction. Started yelling, "Do you know who I am?" And he kept getting upset and finally was asked to leave. Let's just say I'm happy he's gone. This was in a public setting also. I'm surprised that didn't make news. I mean, everyone's got camera phones nowadays, so I'm surprised that they didn't come out. But yeah, did he say I don't have ID? Do you know who I am? And then he faked an injury, and then everyone's like, "Here's your transaction, sir." That's enough identification for us, man. I know it's a bad human trait to be so petty, but it feels really good and it's kind of fun. Yeah. Django Popcheck. Probably for broken ankles from trying to tackle Dalvin in the open field in practice. 2 questions. How would have Brett Favre performed in the Super Bowl if they beat the Saints, considering how banged up he was? And would the 2017 Vikings be have successful if Sam Bradford was healthy? Well, Favre, after 2 weeks, Man, that is a good question. Obviously, he would have played, would have been quasi-effective, but also Favre at a diminished capacity, I still think could have beat that Colts team. That was not a great Colts team. It just wasn't. 2017 Vikings. Yeah, I think so. Especially the way that Slinging Sammy Bradford was playing that week 1 against the Saints on Monday night. Man, Bradford that game dropped some of the sweetest passes I've ever seen a quarterback drop. And it was just, yeah. And Keenum, obviously they benefited from momentum. They obviously benefited from schedule. I mean, when they reeled off 8 straight wins, it was a pretty soft middle of that schedule. But, yeah, that would have been good. Also, how sweet would that revenge narrative have been? Sam Bradford goes back into Philly, NFC title game, then beats the Eagles' ass 38-7. Home Super Bowl, let's go. Boom Addict, how would you spend Captain Munderland's 25.4 career earnings? Let's say 1 million strip club visit was needed, though. So this is like Brewster's Millions. All right, so I would pay off all of my friends and relatives' mortgages, and also student loans if they got them. And then, I don't know, just buy a giant parcel of land where the city's suburbs are eventually going to expand in the next 15 years. Just squat on that land. That's it. Well, if you're going to do the fun way as opposed to the practical way. All right, so in poker lore, there was this Texas banker named Andy Beal who challenged the best poker players in the world, or rather the highest stakes poker players in the world, to they played up to 100 and 200,000 limit heads up limit hold'em, which I know is a really exciting game for a lot of people, but I actually frankly love it. So I would do that, except I would play. Let's see, how many bets is that? I would play 400,000, 800,000. Just really get it. Just jam all that money in. Let's get it. Be a good time. Be good TV. Next up is Big Grover. As a fellow snorer who's getting kicked out of bed, what does work for you to reduce your snoring? What's the website you go to get the player's combine spar chart? So the website is Mock Draftable. All right, so we'll do this. Mock Draftable. Give some love to them. So Mock Draftable, it goes back quite a ways. I think it almost goes back to Bryant McKinney. Nope, not so much. Let's see who's the year after that. Is Adrian on there? Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, so Adrian Peterson, spider chart. There we go. Oh, they should have knocked him. He didn't do well in the agility drills. But, man, Adrian ran the 40 and 4.4 at that size. It's pretty good. Yeah, George Atkinson's a McKellar Shore. Great. Also, man, DeMarcus Murray was a freak for a hot second. Also, so Latavius Murray is really underrated in terms of being a physical freak. I mean, he was. Ran a 4.38 40 at 6'2", 223. Which is really good. I don't know. I always had this thing with Latavius Murray where it looked like he tripped over an imaginary wire. Where he it's almost like he ran too upright. So he would just like sometimes trip. I don't know, just weird. Weird to me. Yeah. So here, all right. Snoring. What help with snoring? I don't know. Sleeping on stomach. That worked for me. So I haven't done any like mouth guards or nose guards, anything like that. But drop a couple pounds, sleep a little bit better. Part and parcel of sleeping better is no caffeine after noon. Wait, no, I lied. No caffeine after like 2, as well as drink lots of. Stay hydrated throughout the day, but stop drinking water after dinner because otherwise you're gonna have to get up and pee all the time. That's really gonna disrupt your sleep. Take magnesium. Take some melatonin. That's about it. Yeah. Tree J. Would you rather have Bug Grant and Prime Michael Vick on your roster or Zimmer and Mahomes? Zimmer and Mahomes. Because I feel like what Mahomes does is going to be more replicatable. It's not a word. Than Michael Vick style. Even though Vick was much more entertaining. I don't know, who am I kidding? Mahomes entertained too. Charlie Boltman, where does the NFL turn if the NFL Referee Association decides not safe for NFL officials to officiate games? Well, it'll be like the when they had the replacement refs. So they'll get some college refs, who work conferences that aren't going to have football this year. They'll dip into some high school ranks as well. So you'll have guys that are not at the pinnacle of their profession, as well as guys that haven't worked together as a crew. So it will be spotty. Eric Normal. The Sam Darnold effect. Mono. We've been kissing. Question. Out of these two former Vikings, Captain Merlin and Terence Newman, who we want back? Merlin. No, just kidding. Terence Newman. Oakview. Oh, this is asked 19 hours ago, so this is before it got announced that Captain got arrested. That's funny. Oakview, honest opinion on Harrison Hand, also because they wanted to save me and let me rest for the Super Bowl because I'm so good. I go for 1,000 yards in that single game. Well, Harrison Hand, I was actually more impressed Harrison's Baylor tape as opposed to Temple, even though that Temple year was the one that got him drafted. I think that he can be a little bit grabby at times. I think that he's not afraid to be physical, which I love. I was trying to think of a good comp. Maybe as not as athletically gifted Trey Waynes, especially in straight line speed, but also I think that he just looked really comfortable, for lack of a better way to put it. So I actually think that he's going to be a big asset for the Vikings. I think that he potentially could move to safety. But yeah, the Vikings did really good. The four cornerbacks brought in: Hefe, Dantzler, Hand, as well as Neville Clark. I love all of them. Stanley Morris, the famous dogs playing poker, Peyton. Which member of the Vikings would be each of those dogs, respectively? All right. Let's see. So your dogs playing poker. Can we get like a larger version? Or I'll just zoom. That's not what I want to do. You guys are being jerks right now. All right. So here we go. So dogs playing poker. Yeah, I've never really looked at this. God damn it. That's not what I want to do. All right. Yeah, I've never really looked closely at this. So, all right. So you got the two. All right. So you got like the two twins, the Saint Bernard and whatever that one might be. Saint Bernard. So the two twins. So it'd be Barr and Kendricks, and then you got the Border Collie. That would be Harrison. Guy cheating. All right, so the two guys colluding. Who would be colluding? I don't know. All right, so the one that looks tough, that'd be Everson. If Everson comes back. If not, that'd be Drew Samia. All right, the little cheating bulldog. I don't know. All right, no. All right, so the ones that got three aces. Maybe I'm thinking too much about this. All right, so that one's Daniil. Cheating Bulldog. I don't know, Mike Hughes. Because sometimes he makes bad decisions. As evidenced by the Jay Rutgers thing. Or, yeah, it's Mike Hughes and Holton Hill. Right here. There you go. Bam. All right, next up is Stanley Morris. Who's winning a fight, Hannibal Lecter or Hannibal Barca? Hannibal Barca. It's not even close. I mean, Lecter was like this elderly, just creepy doctor, and Hannibal is one of the greatest generals of antiquity. Yeah. Stanley Morris. Knees, ACL, MCL, all jazzed up from high school. So easy answer. There you go. Stanley Morris, how many coaches around the league do you believe will come down with the sickness? Pun intended. So we know of two as of right now. So Sean Payton, Doug Peterson. So maybe this is the Vikings revenge tour virus. I don't know. Man, you are concerned, especially on the Vikings. You got guys like Kubiak and Zimmer, advanced age, have had very recent scary health issues. But I don't know, over under 5.5. we'll say 5.5 coaches or head coaches or coordinators. 5.5 around the league. Yeah, so hopefully everyone's being careful. Hunter Williams, Skull from NYC. Do you see Dalvin being a dark horse MVP or offensive player of the year? Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's going to get that work. If he stays healthy, he definitely has a chance to really bust out. And a la shades of 2012 Adrian, certainly could be up there. Luke K, what's the most underrated vegetable? Kalarabi. All right, so bring out Kalarabi. Oh, yeah, I forgot I zoomed in. All right, so Kalarabi, I believe it's in, like, the cabbage family. All right, so Kalarabi, when I was a kid, we had these growing up in our garden every single year. And actually, I think they're, like, in the cabbage turnip somewhere in there. But what you do is, you take the bulb, peel it, and it's really crisp. It's like, how do you describe it? It's like a not sweet apple. It's really got that firm, like really good apple texture, but savory for savory purposes. You can dice this up, put it in a salad, put it in a stew. You can put it in place of like a rutabaga, a bit less sweet than a rutabaga. But yeah, I always think that these are really underrated. And like no one ever talks about Kalarabis. That's mine. Next up, Westworld is on the IR for erectile dysfunction. If you could change one thing about Minnesota culture, what would that be? I guess the whole passive aggressiveness thing. Like, if you got something to say, just say it. Like, I wish that. Well, frankly, I wish the whole world would just be more Spartan or more Lacedaemonian in their speech. Just if you have something to say it as simply as possible and directly as possible, which is good. Because I don't know, like it does get exhausting. Like this whole. You don't want to be too nice, so you're actually like, you don't want to be mean, so you're actually like overly nice. Yeah, but that's worldwide. Charlie Boltman. I don't know, but Chad Pennington would have aced this test. Are the Vikings better suited for a base cover 3 this season with Troy Dye playing off ball and Barr moving closer to the line of scrimmage? I think they now have the talent at DB to make it work. And they're missing another coverage linebacker in the KJ Wright, Drew Greenlaw mold. Was the linebacker room sneakily the most upgraded position group with the added versatility? Oh, yeah, I forgot about Troy Dye. About that. Well, so cover 3, covering underneath. I mean, Troy Dye obviously would be a lot better suited for covering like the hook zones and the curl flats. Getting Barr closer to the line of scrimmage would be smart. Barr, I would trust more Barr more in the middle of the field than I would him out in the flats or covering curls for sure. As far as the defensive backs, I mean, if you're working in cover 3, you can still have Harrison up near the line of scrimmage, so that's smart. Harris would be great playing center field or playing one of the deep thirds. See, if it's Hughes and I'm trying to think, Hughes and Gladney, that'd be fine. I think Dance will do great in a cover 3 scheme. Richard Sherman adjacent. It'd be good. But yeah, I think the Vikings are putting a premium on getting svelter and faster and linebacker. You look at Kendricks, you look at Wilson, you look at Troy Dye. So they are putting more of a premium on coverage. Pulford Skull. Oh, you look at like Blake Lynch and Jordan Fair as well. Yeah. Pulford Skull. And if you're a GM and could sign any free agent, who will it be? And Will We Day Everson is already back with the team. And Will We Day. Sign any free agent, who would it be? Snacks Harrison right now. If you could trade anyone, who would it be? Elfline to the Cowboys for a 7th rounder. And if you could cut one player, who would it be? Elfline. Injury would probably be lower body, hamstring, or groin, almost for certain. Yeah. Got to get those old man soft tissue injuries all the time. Chase and Gelke. I was once speared and took a helmet to the gut, which resulted in a lacerated liver, internal bleeding, and a short hospital stay. Damn. My coach told me to walk it off. He felt bad after I found out what happened. Man, that's great. Also, that's something you don't hear much anymore, spearing. Clipping. Yeah, you don't hear that penalty a lot anymore. They used to get it back in the day a lot. Luke K. I'll be on IR for drinking a little bit too much the night before and accidentally falling asleep on my couch to wake up on the next day by 11 a.m. and almost missing practice while hungover and getting rocked from the play that leaves me with back problems. Man, so that's like the dude from Friday Night Lights, Riggs, whatever his name is. That's about it. Kyle Rippentrop, King of Glass Door. If you could have any year of muscle car, what would it be? Mine would be a 67 Shelby. I'm not really well versed in muscle cars. I think that they're really cool, but I'm not. I don't have the expertise enough to pick like a certain year. I do like the old. I do like the old GTOs. That's a little much. Red would be a little bit much. That's fine. All right, yeah, so something like that. I don't know what, 67? All right, 67 GTO. I'll call it the GTFO. Bam. Lastly, I got one more up. David Hill. Who's sliding by the media and public opinion is more infuriating? Daniil Sack King, Hunter, or Harrison, best safety league, who's a remotely close myth, or Xavier Rhodes being touted? I would go on Otter because I can't, because I caught a drag route and Bobby Wagner removed my head from my body. You know, like he could catch you at his age. Only buck and neck because I'm short. Probably Daniil. Even though Harrison, maybe we've just grown accustomed to that disrespect, but Daniil, fastest to 50 sacks. Youngest 50 sacks, fastest, whatever. He's going to be in contention to break the all-time sack record. And he's constantly listed as like the 10th best edge rusher in the league. He was number 2 in pressures last year. It's just consistent disrespect and disregard. It really is eye-opening. I think that consensus-wise, people do understand that Harrison, like even the haters will put Harrison as the top 5 safety. I mean, that's still incorrect, but at least that's better than a top 10 on their best day, which is just still so annoying. It just really is. But that's it. That's a live stream for Tuesday. Jeromes, thank you very much for coming along. Oh, also, we got a couple new sponsors on the show. We'll have full details out tomorrow, and just different ways to support us through enjoying products that we enjoy. It's always a good time, especially with football coming back. We want a place to put down some jelly beans. Certainly have that coming up. Oh, as well. Oh, you can also put jelly beans on baseball and basketball. It's a good time. It's kind of crazy, right? But we're out of here for today. See you tomorrow.